Have I got a treat for you guys? We have never done this before, so this is kind of an experiment, but we are at a huge ancient ruin site, or I should say I'm solo, Cherie is not with me, but this is just a massive ancient ruin site, almost 1,000 years old. And I will share the location with you shortly, but I want to give you guys a chance to guess it for those of you that are history buffs, to see if you can guess what site this is. But I will share it with you and the location, because this is actually one that you can check out yourself. We are at the corner of this site. It's a massive site. It had like 350 rooms when it was fully built, 3 stories high. Yes, again, 1,000 years old, built around 1080 actually, and it's huge. It's nearly 400 feet one direction and close to 200 feet the other direction. This first room that we are looking at, they called it the bowling alley, which is interesting. They don't really know what this room was used for, but they did find an infant that they buried here, 4 to 8 months old. And they said that's not unusual for this culture. And I will tell you what I know about the culture here in just a minute, but it's not unusual. They have found other remains that were buried here as well, not just humans. And I'll tell you more about that coming up. But it is well preserved, but still, you know, the years have taken its toll on this. It's kind of interesting. You've got like I forget what it's called, but a little area on the wall right there, like for some decorations. And I will show you this culture, the ancient Puebloans, but more specifically, it was the ancestral Puebloans is the main tribe, but it was the Chacoan culture from Chaco Canyon. This is known as a Chaco Canyon or Chacoan outlier. Yeah, this is like a suburb, actually. 350 rooms, and it was not the main complex of this culture. I have a lot of cool stuff to share with you. We've been in this area for months filming because we have some really cool videos coming out. I'll give you a close-up of these walls. They're just really something. But look at the construction. I mean, I'll zoom in, but I'll get even closer here in a little bit. It looks like a modern stone wall that you might see in a fireplace somewhere. Just, they were such artistic people, master stone masons. This is a really interesting room here. It is a square room, but later on they built a kiva in it, around kiva. So there are several rooms like this, not unusual in the Chacoan culture to see this when they decided to repurpose a room. So then you get these little extra spaces where there's not really much going on right here. But I'll zoom in a little bit here. You can tell that there's some repairs that have been done. And when the Chacoan people left, they were here for, I think, 200 to 300 years. They did leave, and then other tribes came in and used the area. So they, like we got a house already built here, so it's like, why not use it? So they made repairs with like some of the river stone, the round stone here, which doesn't match the really nice stone that you see right here. And I have more beautiful walls to show you that even look more detailed and intricate. I had struggled with that word. This is live, or you'll be watching a recorded version of this depending on when you're seeing this. So it's unedited. But this is a way that we can share with you what we're working on, hopefully get you excited to see it, or come out and visit these sites, because again, this is public and you can come and see it. I'll give you the first hint here. We are in the Four Corners area of the United States. Of course, if you heard me say Chacoan and you look that up, you'll be able to find, but no cheating, no looking it up yet. So this is only for the history buffs. I will tell you where we're at here in a moment. But what is interesting about the stones, the original stones right here, just remarkable work. And look at that, the ancient adobe mud. You can still see the fingerprints and indentions in here when they put this together. Amazing. They hauled the stones, I think, from like 3 miles away. If you think that is something, the original wood is still in some of these rooms. They think that may have come from forests 25 miles away. And our understanding is they had no mechanism for bringing that other than a lot of hands. So I don't think they didn't have horses at that time. I don't believe they had any kind of carts. But I'm not sure on that. Certainly comment below, what do you think of this? But here we go. Here is actual wood. And this is another kiva right here, built into a square room after the fact. But we've got some wood built into it that is, 1,000 years old. And again, apologize for the shaky camera. This is an unedited video, but it's a way for us to share what we've been working on for months. And make sure you follow us on this social media platform, whichever one it is. Like, follow, give it a love, comment. But it's going to be YT. Yes, subscribe on YT for the full-length documentary style. Not just on this amazing ancient site here, but Chaco Canyon as well, and some of the other outliers. We are going to be, we've got a lot of editing to do, hundreds of hours of work. It's going to take a while, but we're excited to share it. Cherie and I have just a real passion for exploring these sites and learning about our ancient history, our ancient past, which I know some of you agree is not necessarily what we've been told. They are still discovering things about history and changing it, or it should be changed, because, we're still learning. We are still learning. For example, these kivas right here, they did a lot of ceremonies in these kivas, and they don't really know exactly what ceremonies were going on. And we have experts coming up on our long form documentary style videos. We have an archaeologist. We have some other experts. We tried to interview some of the tribal members in the area, but they don't want to talk. They don't want to share. And I respect that. We respect that, because not everybody wants to share everything. And that's part of their heritage, and we respect that, but we are trying to learn, and we're going to keep asking. We're going to keep asking questions. What kinds of ceremonies did they have in these kivas? What were the religious beliefs in the past? Not saying it should be one way or the other, not at all. We're explorers just trying to understand. And I'm going to walk around this site, this huge site here, and just tell you what I can remember. But again, over on YT is going to be the major videos released, documentary style, which we love doing, but they are, again, a lot of work. You can see some repairs that were done here. I think at least 3 or 4 different repairs right here. But something I was reading about this particular site is they're still doing archaeology here. It's one of the rare sites that they're still actively doing research on. They will now. Well, I'll back up. Some of these repairs were other tribes that came through the area and used these sites, like the Navajo, after the Chicoans left. But this is a museum, actually. There's another clue for you. They will add additional mortar, like plaster cement, to support a wall that looks like it's going to fall. But if a wall falls over, they won't repair a collapsed wall. And the reason I read was that they don't want another civilization 1,000 years from now to come in and think something different, is the way I read that, and I understand it. So I can kind of see the logic in that. So sometimes it's been repaired, but only so that it lasts longer. Nothing changed from what we should be looking at now. The desert is relentless. The weather is relentless. They had a tornado come through here in the spring, and actually you can see this is actually not a completely excavated site. I'll just turn a little bit right here. I mean, this is the plaza right here, but there are rooms out here completely buried. And why is it not completely excavated? It takes a lot of time and money to do that. And if you want to help, I'll share how you can contact them and make a donation if you wish. But the desert, when the wind blows the sand, it fills in. When it rains here in the desert, there's not a lot of grass right here. It just, the mud and silt just goes into these rooms and fills them in. So they are constantly doing a battle here to save these ruins. I think here's an example of where they've added some concrete to kind of support it. Otherwise, you can see right here where just, this wall is ready to cave in from all the water running down here from like thunderstorms and things like that. Well, here's some big rooms coming up here. And again, stick around till the end because we got a great kiva coming up here. You're going to want to see that. It's the biggest room. Well, that's going to be at the end. But now we're getting big rooms here. Look at this. As I mentioned earlier, but if you're joining us late, 350 rooms in this site at its peak when it was done. I think they figured 200 to 300 people were here at the peak of this civilization. And they were here for about 200 or 300 years. You know, they found manos and metates. Tens of thousands of artifacts have been excavated out of here. Just a ton of pottery. The ancestral Puebloans or the ancient Chacoan people were true artists. It was interesting. They made pottery very delicate, ornate, to break as part of their ceremonies. Yeah, interesting. I won't go into that now, but again, subscribe on YT, because we've got these long form documentaries where we're talking to experts that know far more than what we know. But hey, guess what? You want to go into a kiva, a smaller kiva? Let's do it. Let's take a look in here. And we respect these sites. And for those of you that have been watching some of our other journeys to ancient ruins, it's generally accepted we don't touch these walls because that, you know, wears them down a little quicker. And a lot of people say don't go inside, but this is a public site. It's meant to be explored. It's meant to go inside, so we're going to do that. But thank you for your comments about protecting it. But, oh, this is a great example of the ornate construction of these. Look at this wall. How these stones are so perfect, and the tiny stones with the mortar just put in here one by one. True artisans. I don't know about you. I think it's beautiful. I mean, I'd love to have that in my house, like a fireplace that looked like that. That would be so cool. And it's a little overgrown in here. And you can see where we got some mixed lighting. It is getting close to sunset here. Hopefully you can see okay. But we're going to look right here. You can see where later on they filled in like an entrance right here after the fact. Not quite as ornate. It may have been a completely different tribe. You can see the difference. Very ornate and not so much. You know, that is a true sign to tell if it was a Chacoan society that built it or just another tribe that maybe wasn't as advanced in their building techniques at the time. Beautiful, beautiful work. But you can see right here is a partial wall collapse that I don't know if they intend to fix that, if they're going to leave that. I'm not sure if that qualifies as a repair for the museum or not. But yeah, can you imagine 1,000 years ago, what ceremonies did they do in this room? You know, it's just so inspiring to be here and to explore these. So make sure you're following us for more of these videos on this platform. We'll do shorter amounts of it, but over on YT, that's where you're going to get our longer, full-length documentary-style videos coming out, and we are so excited to do that. But yeah, just an amazing site here. I'll give you another hint here. We are actually in New Mexico right now. I said Four Corners region before, and this is one of dozens of the Chacoan outline societies It was the largest Chacoan outlier, but there were many, many of them. Just kind of showing you some of the other rooms. Here's another kiva. A good time to visit this area is definitely in the spring and the fall. They do get a little bit of snow here. You got any guesses? Make sure you comment down below. The plaza right here where they would trade with other societies. Children would play. They said there would be dogs and turkeys, actually. And this is pretty amazing. They actually traded with tribes down in Mexico 1,000 miles away for macaws and macaw feathers. Yes, the tropical bird, macaws. It was like a status symbol for the wealthy people in this society, the elites. And to have a pet macaw was a sign of status, or to have a garment or a rug or a blanket or something made out of macaw feathers. Yeah, I know. You're like, no way. This is like the desert. You have a tropical bird here? Yes. And actually, this particular site here has more macaw burial sites than any of the other Chacoan outlier societies. Yes. So when the macaw, the bird, the tropical bird died, it was still a big deal. They had their burial ceremony for that. And there are, I don't remember how many, but there are multiple macaws that were buried here and or excavated here. Interesting, isn't it? Just amazing. We're getting up here to where the ruins are getting taller. And again, 350 rooms, three stories high here. You're like, no way. But in Chaco Canyon, Pueblo Bonito, some of the other great houses down there, which we have, again, full-length documentary-style videos coming out on YT, 5 stories tall. Yes, 5 stories tall. They were doing this 1,000 years ago. Yeah, just incredible. Look at this deep room right here. And yes, I was told it was 3 stories tall right here. You got more of the original wood right here sticking out. That probably indicates the second level there, maybe. Not sure. And over on the far wall, you can see some smaller beams sticking out. And on some of our other videos, some of you have said, no way that's 1,000 years old. Wood doesn't last that long. I'm just saying what the experts say, that yes, it is nearly 1,000 years old and it does last. I mean, obviously it's not perfect. It has, some of it has collapsed. The roofs have collapsed here. But it can make it. If it's protected in the right way, it can make it. Oh, I got a really cool room to show you here. Just again, the tower kiva is right there. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. But this room over here, just to tell you how advanced this society was, this entire complex here was built based on the lunar cycle, the long lunar cycle. Have you guys heard the lunar standstill? We're actually in the peak of it right now. It's an 18.6 year cycle of the moon. The ancient Chacoans were familiar with this. They built the alignments to the moon and the sun and these cycles into their complexes. And we have so much to share about that, but this room is incredible right here. Room number 13, lucky number 13. The alignment with this window right here, shown down in here. It's hard to tell in this light here what I'm focusing on, but down in this room, there was an alignment spot. So on the summer solstice, June 21st, the rising sun would hit a certain spot on a little ceremony area, a little raised platform in this room. And the seasons and the sun and the moon cycles were so important to this society, not just from a spiritual or a ceremony aspect, but also for growing crops. They did grow crops. And I think they had the time to study the cycles because, they didn't have stuff like what we're on right now, social media, not quite as much going on. They had time to look at the night sky every night to see what the moon is doing, what the stars are doing. I think there's evidence of other things other planets that they were following and studying. We're not the experts. We're the reporters. We're just reporting what we've heard, studied, and read. But we will be having, we have an archaeologist, Tori, that's here. And I can probably share where we're at right now. This place is called Salmon Ruins. It's in the town of Bloomfield, New Mexico. Again, Four Corners area. Amazing site. You can come here. It is only $4 a person. And there's so much more to see here. There is Navajo hogans here. There's sweat lodges. There's pioneer settlement things here, a museum, a gift shop, like some of the artifacts that have come out of here, the pottery, the arrowheads are in the museum. And, you'll see that on our long form documentary on YT when we put that together. But Shree and I have a lot of editing to do before that comes out. But I just got to show you this. Again, beautiful, beautiful stonework right here. Have you seen anything like this before? And share this video with your friends that are into ancient history, archaeology. And we are having so much fun looking at these ancient sites and just discovering so many things that we had no idea existed before. Let's come up here to the Tower Kiva, actually. We can't go in it. And I didn't say this yet, but again, this is in the middle of town. I mean, there's houses right here. Like, we are not out in the middle of nowhere, which normally that's the sites that we go look at. But we had to share this one. It makes it very easy for you guys to visit here. Again, it's like $4 to come here and visit. So if you're in, the Four Corners area, stop by and visit. Let them know that you saw our video that said, hey, come and check it out. We appreciate that. But this is the Tower Kiva. Look at the stairs right here. And I believe this has been remade. This is not like original stairs, but a replica to demonstrate how they would get in and out of the Kiva. I apologize, my voice is starting to go. Been doing a lot of recording here. And to remind you, this is recorded live, whether it's live at the moment of you watching it or not, but no edits, no cuts on this. You're getting everything. But this particular room, the Tower Kiva, they say was the most important room here, that the entire site was built around this room right here. We're still trying to figure it out. We're still, why? Why were the Kivas so important? If you know or have theories, definitely share them in the comments. You can see we've got more of the original wood in here. In some of the pits. Different pits right there. And on our longer form videos, our documentary style, we have our archaeologist that gives her theory on what they were used for. This is not the Great Kiva here, though. That is, and we will be going there in just a moment. We'll get a look from up top here at some other rooms. I think I mentioned this before, but this is only a partially excavated site. Amazing. Just amazing. Let's take a look over here. One thing I like about this site is when you come here, you get a huge pamphlet that explains in great detail what they know about the different rooms and what they found in them. So if you are passionate like we are, learning more about this stuff, you get this book, and it's just so much detail. You can spend an hour here walking around. You could spend all day if you want to. It just is so interesting. And if you're here when it's hot, like the summertime, the museum is a great place to cool off. I mean, you can see some of these rooms were probably excavated, but you can see this has been excavated. And right here, it's not, or it's just filled in, because the desert is relentless. The weather is relentless. It is so much cooler now than it was in the summertime, but I'm still sweating. It is the desert. We got some other rooms over here before I show you the Great Kiva. Another smaller Kiva right here, built into a square room again. So this is a little newer room. When they were repurposing some of these, for some reason they wanted more smaller Kivas. And it makes you wonder why. What were they doing in the smaller Kivas as opposed to the larger Kivas? What were the ceremonies? We're just really curious about that. But yeah, beautiful. Maybe the smaller ones were used for more family gatherings, smaller groups. Obviously, they can't fit as many people. We've got some more rooms right here. You can even see even some of the concrete that they've used to kind of hold the top of these walls together is coming apart here. All right, you guys ready to see the Great Kiva? We'll head over there right now. Again, appreciate your thumbs up, your follows, shares, loves, whatever platform you're watching on it. Head on over to YT to catch the full-length documentaries when they come out. I don't have a date on that, but we do have other full-length videos hiking to other ancient ruins. If you're not familiar with us, check out our other videos. We've been on YouTube for a long time. So this is the Great Kiva. It's huge. But you're thinking probably, why is it filled in? Has it not been excavated? Actually, it has been excavated. They purposely, that is the museum staff, filled it in. They backfilled it purposely to protect it, which is really interesting. It's the first place I've heard of this happening. But they were concerned that some of the components on the inside of the kiva were not going to last, so they filled it in. So very interesting. This other room off to the side, if I remember right, it's like the antechamber. That's not exactly what it's called, but it's close to that. It's like, I would say, I imagine it like the prep room, like whoever was going to come out and do their ceremony, performance, whatever, they would be in there, get prepared, not completely unlike our theaters today. But they use these kivas not just for ceremonies, but for meeting with another tribe or governmental activities. Yes, they had an organized government. They had to be able to build something this big. They had to have leaders and workers and people in between, I'm sure, to make this happen. So, again, Cherie and I are not the experts. We are just learning. We have experts coming on. So we are just excited to share what we found. And you're probably looking at this and being blown away. And again, this is like the suburb of Chaco Canyon, which is a lot harder to get to. No joke how hard it is to get to. But thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, following us over on YT. And for now, we will catch you next time.